This video on Pokemon card investing is all about what's wrong with every set we've had out, or every era, I should say, that we've had out since the get-go. And I suppose the reason to look back on this, and it's really important when it comes to Pokemon investing, because you can get quite caught up in emotion and not think logically, particularly when you're collecting new cards and new sets and you just want it, let's get it, spend money. And then all of a sudden you realize you've made emotional decisions rather than rational decisions. And what I want you to do when it comes to this video, we're going to go through every single era of Pokemon cards so far and look at what was wrong with it. And the reason I want you to do that, let's say we expand the timeline out and Pokemon's been out for 50 years. We're going into the future here for argument's sake. And you're looking back at Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield or even Sun and Moon, and you're picking it to pieces because you've had another 12 generations or 8 generations or whatever it might be since those sets have come out. And you can really look at them objectively. And that's probably what we should be doing. Because if we look back, say, to Wizards of the Coast era or EX era or Diamond and Pearl era, you can sort of look at them objectively, and all of a sudden, different eras stand out to be way stronger than other eras. And I suppose we should be asking ourselves, what makes the current crop of Pokemon cards stand out? Are they even going to be a good investment? What's going to make people want them in 10 years' time or 5 years' time? Why is someone going to pay $1,000 for your Lost Origin booster box in 5 years' time? Why won't it still be worth 250 Australian dollars? Those are all pretty important questions. So let's rewind all the way back in time to Wizards of the Coast era. But before we do, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Also, if you want to become a channel member, that would be greatly appreciated. You just go onto the homepage, click join, and then you can ask me some emails. You can ask me some investment related questions via email. Just put in your YouTube handle and I'll know you're a member. Hey, before we do get started on Wizards of the Coast, geez, I've been caught up in, listening to some old school music again lately. Jumped onto Spotify, of course, as always, and I've been cranking a bit of Outkast lately. Like Andre 3000, he's an underestimated rapper, isn't he? Secret, or not even secret, I'm a massive hip hop and rap fan. Absolutely love Eminem and love discovering new artists or just rekindling some love for artists. I used to love Outkast back in the day, but anyway, segue, but let's get back into it. Looking at Wizards of the Coast. So let's put our critical hat on. And this is what I want to say about Wizards of the Coast. Don't get me wrong, it is an absolutely beautiful era of Pokemon cards. And I'm not bagging out each era of Pokemon cards. I'm just saying let's look at them critically. Wizards of the Coast was a stunning era of Pokemon cards, from base set, of course, through to Skyridge. There was so many beautiful cards, and everything wasn't kept and stored away and hoarded and graded instantly like it is now. And it's just left this magical, nostalgic era of Pokemon cards. But hey, imagine this, right? So imagine if base set come out right now. Even first edition base set come out right now. Just remember, right, base set had 16 holos inside it. Machamp, of course, which you got from the booster box, which you got from the theme deck. And the other 15, okay, so there's 15 holos that you could pull from booster packs. There is a 1 in 3 chance of pulling a holographic card. So out of those 15 holos, one of them is going to be Charizard. 15 times 3 is 45. So you had a 1 in 45 chance. So if you open 45 packs, you should pull a Charizard. That is like an average of about 1.3 booster boxes to pull a Zard. Or probably even a touch more, 1.4 booster boxes to pull a Charizard. That is insanely easy. So imagine if it come out now, right? And you had 1 in 3 chance to pull any holo. And they're getting graded. All of them right now would just be worthless because there'd just be way too much supply on the market. Strange to think of, isn't it? Do you get what I'm saying? Of course, now, so many of these were not kept in good condition and there's barely any packs left and there's not many PSA 10 graded copies. So of course they're worth heaps of money now. They've got the nostalgia factor, they're rare. But if they come out now, they wouldn't be rare because there's just so many of them. You've got a 1 in 45 chance to pull any base set holo. Crazy to think of it that way, isn't it? Well, let's jump out of, I suppose, Wizards of the Coast era. So let's leave that behind and go to EX era. No issue. Honestly, I cannot pick a fault in EX era. And you know why? And I know the title says, faults in every era, but I just cannot. I love the EX era. What a stunning set of Pokemon cards. Honestly, it is by far for me the biggest standout era of Pokemon cards that has ever been produced. Not only, of course, was, I suppose, popularity at an all-time low, production volume was at an all-time low because, obviously supply has to meet demand. What's the point of printing 1 million boxes if you can't sell them? But that 1 in 3 holo hit, or 1 in 45 chance to pull any holo from a set, and don't get me wrong, that continued through. Like, that was in Jungles, in Fossils, in Team Rocket. What EX era did is add tiered rarities to the set. So, okay, you could pull holos, but then you could get reverse holos, or you could get EX cards, which were harder to pull. Then, on top of that, you had that ultimate chase, which was the Gold Star. About 1 in 3.5 to 4 booster boxes pulled a Gold Star. Like, hats off, hey? Like, this tiered rarity should not go unquestioned, unannounced. That is a fantastic job from Nintendo, and it's probably only now that we're really realizing how spectacular that was, and that tiered chase. It's brilliant. Hard set to pull a fault in. But anyway, I said we'd keep picking faults objectively. Diamond and Pearl. Well, I didn't mind Diamond and Pearl era. Like, it's certainly not a bad set of Pokemon cards, but the main chasers were now these, sort of secret rare level X's. And it had the same feel to Gold Stars, as in that, the Pokemon was coming out of the border. But it just didn't hit the same as a Gold Star, did it? And I think everyone can agree with that. Well, I hope they can agree, but maybe some people disagree, which is fine. But it just didn't hit the same as what a Gold Star did. Maybe it was because the artwork wasn't as good. Maybe the design of the external part of the card, like not where the Pokemon is, wasn't as nice to look at. But they thought, okay, level X, this is like a Gold Star card in that, it's coming out of the border, and I don't know, it didn't have the same bang or pop that Gold Stars did. If we keep going forward to Platinum era, same thing, but don't get me wrong, this was a massive improvement in my opinion on Diamond and Pearl. There is some damn nice Pokemon card sets from Platinum series. But same thing, it was just missing that. I was missing the Gold Stars, wasn't it? But Platinum is a better series of Pokemon cards in my opinion than Diamond and Pearl, and it's getting close to EX. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, I can really pick some faults in this, and I always feel a little bit mean towards Heart Gold, Soul Silver, but the split card, never liked it. It's happened in a lot of other TCGs as well, not just Pokemon, but I've never liked that split card. Like the legendary Pokemon, you had the Lugia and the Ho-Oh. I think there was one with Entei, etc., and Deoxys and Rayquaza. I hated like half a card, and then you got to join them up together. They used to do it in the Score Dragon Ball Z game, where you'd get, you'd have to fill out the puzzle piece. So you'd get nine Pokemon, 9 Dragon Ball Z cards. It was just like, and the other thing, the big hits, the big chase, sort of like the Prime cards. I don't know, the Pokemon, like this just animated clay-based look to the Pokemon, and you really just got to see their face and not the whole Pokemon. It was really dark, like there was no background to the card. Like the boxes, don't get me wrong, the boxes are still nice and they're still worth heaps of money, but that's why I said just remove yourself and look objectively at it for a second. Call of Legends, I'm not going to call this an era, but like all it allows for is a drool emoji. Like, beautiful card set, beautiful Pokemon card set. Black and White. Now, this was the first one, I guess, where it felt like they really started to ramp up production. We started to get a lot of sets inside Black and White. We wanted to pump them out a little bit quicker, and it then becomes, in my eyes, hit and miss. Like, you get good set, average set, bad set, good set, bad set, good set, average set, good set. You get what I mean? It was really hit and miss Black and White. An absolute stellar part of course, is when the first Elite Trainer box come out, and of course we had that beautiful Plasma Storm set with that amazing Charizard, one of my favourite Charizards. I shouldn't be talking it up. I'm supposed to be talking them down objectively. But you get what I mean. My argument with this set is starting to just, let's pump the sets out, and then it becomes really hit and miss. Oh, I'm going to throw some shade, unfortunately, on this era, XY. The latter half, of course, we had a very special game come out for mobiles. I think some of you might have heard of it, called Pokemon Go. And it meant the printers went into overdrive to try and keep up with demand, because Pokemon just found this new boom, didn't it, from Pokemon Go. We, of course, got XY Evolutions, a throwback to base set. But for me, it's just the artwork in this set. Personally, it doesn't do anything for me. I have no intention, no reason to go out and buy these sort of cards. Some people might love them, so fantastic. Of course you're allowed to. That's the whole idea behind Pokemon. It's supposed to be subjective, and everyone has different ideas of what they find, attractive and collectible. But for me, I cannot. Doesn't grow on me, no matter how many of them I look at. Yeah, okay, some of the secret rares are okay, like the Gyarados from Breakpoint, but other than that, no, it just doesn't do anything for me, XY. I'm sorry, and it's just lack of valuable chase cards because of it. I feel like there's some sentiment towards the artwork that's just unfortunate. Sun and Moon, this is where we really, really started to step it up. Like, we're getting 5 or 6 on a rotational basis throughout the year, 5 or 6 sets. And I can tell you what happens with this. Some of them just become weak. They're just like, it almost becomes like this generic, we haven't featured these Pokemon, so we better put them into this set. And then, that set was a bit of a flop, so let's bring back Charizard. Next set, bit of a flop, let's bring back Charizard. And it's just like, you get on this cycle of producing too many sets too quickly, but I'm not bagging out Sun and Moon, because the last 4 sets were absolutely stunning, of course, those tag team sets. What a brilliant idea. I don't want to pick a fault at that. You had 4 of the greatest sets with Hidden Fates, a holiday set, a 5th set thrown inside the mix of those 4. So, Sword and Shield. I think when everyone looks back subjectively or objectively at Sword and Shield, we're going to go, first half was weak and the second half was bloody brilliant. And that about sums it up. So, let's rewind the clock forward 20 years and we look back, like we're looking back at the EX era. We're going to go, okay, base is weak, Rebel Clash is weak, Darkness Ablaze is overprinted, Vivid Voltage is overprinted, Darkness Ablaze is weak because there's only one chase card, which is a Charizard. Vivid Voltage is sort of cool. I like the colour and the pop, and there's a Rainbow Pikachu to chase, and these amazing rares which are only worth $1. Battle Styles was half weak, but started this alternate art, and then we start picking up. Okay, that's when the latter, I suppose 2/3, but mainly the latter half of Sword and Shield just goes bang, and people looking back will go, wow. Okay, we had that tiered chase back. It felt like EX era again. Okay, you could get reverses, you could get holos, you could get trainer galleries, you could get alt art Vs, alt art V maxes. You had this tiered rarity, which just made the thrill of the chase fun. The only thing I will say though is, if you don't get an alt art, you feel like you've sort of missed out. And will that hurt it in the future? Possibly, possibly not. Now finally, Scarlet and Violet, we're not really far enough into it yet, but if there's one fault we can pick so far, it's like, where's the big chase? What have we got? Iono is the most expensive chase card that, forgetting Paldean Fates because it's too soon, and that Charizard from Paldean Fates is probably more expensive than Iono at the moment, I imagine, but it'll drop. It will. Because the pull rates are too easy. So are we going to look back at Scarlet and Violet and go, okay, what a great era when it comes to artwork? Because it is. But why aren't any of them worth enough money? Like, are they getting graded too much? Are they getting printed too much? Is the centering too bad? Is the print quality too bad? Artwork's beautiful, but why aren't these cards worth much? Like, where's that real chase? Where's my $2,000 PSA 10? Like a Latias Latios. Just a thought when it comes to Scarlet and Violet, but I don't want to throw too much shade at it because, hey, I'm excited for the second half of it. Let's hope the second half of it is absolutely brilliant, because I'm sure it will be. It's what happened with Sword and Shield. It really stepped it up. It's what happened with Sun and Moon. They really stepped it up. So fingers crossed, hey? Well, I hope that video made sense with what we're trying to do when you look back sort of subjectively at every era and go, you know, how does it really stack up? From an investing standpoint, there's some important things to always do there when you look back in time and see what was successful, because what was successful in the past has every chance of being successful in the future. And it's always the cards, isn't it? It always comes back to the card, always comes back to the chase cards inside a set. Hopefully this helped and everyone's learned something off it. I'm Michael. This is Pokey Oz. Catch everyone next time.